So, just to introduce you all to the space that we're in, welcome to the Monolith. So it's the primary headquarters of the Bureau. You might not be familiar with the organization, as they generally operate along the periphery. Clandestine operations, extensive cover-ups, the type of work that you'd expect from a government agency that's charged with controlling the paranatural. The monolith was constructed as a means of strengthening the planar barrier and to reduce instances of dimensional bleed that occur across the city. The design is a measure of creating order from chaos. So it's got brutalist architecture with hard lines and a clean, grounded design. It creates this dimensional resonance and a sense of harmony that stabilizes this weak barrier and ideally prevents unwanted entities from crossing over. Shortly after the construction of the monolith, it experienced some unexpected side effects based on this proximity to the weak planar barrier. The interior is liminal, and in some ways it serves as an interplanar space between the prime material plane and what lies beyond the barrier. As a result, the interior is a lot larger than it appears from the outside, and it's prone to shifts. Since this construction, the Bureau has managed to stabilize 10 primary levels from these shifts. The other levels of the building still experience instances of this dimensional bleed. Manifestations appear ghastly and translucent. Their forms haven't fully crossed into the material plane. So rooms might appear alien or out of order. Sometimes people phase or flash. But it's common when working in the monolith, and our agents are familiar with the idiosyncrasies of this place. Speaking of our agents, perhaps we should meet them and see what they're up to. I think we'll start by looking in on a tech specialist. Andrew, would you like to introduce your character and let us know what they're doing on this fine Friday afternoon?
Yeah, my character's name is James Pritchett. Some folks would describe me as, I don't know, boring, annoying, incompetent, incontinent. I don't know about that one. I just work here. I've been here for about 35 years. Honestly, I just like to hang out with people. I like to chat with people. I'm not lonely, but I don't have very many friends. So I like to just chat with people at work. Right now, I'm just in my cubicle, plugging away, answering emails. I work in IT, so if you have any questions about how to set up Microsoft Teams or, restart your computer, I could help you. Yeah, that's me.
So you've obviously been with the Bureau for quite a while. What's the craziest shit you've seen since you started working here?
Yeah, people report a lot of weird things happening, a lot of ghastly forms, gaseous forms, spots on the walls moving. I haven't witnessed very much. Well, the craziest thing that I've witnessed is, for some reason, in the lunchroom, in the fridge, every day there appears to be a new sandwich that shows up at lunchtime. And it has somebody else's name on it for some reason, but I end up taking it, and then every day there's another one. Super strange. I never pack a lunch anymore. Yeah, it's so weird that just every day in the lunchroom there's a new sandwich, and so weird.
It is really interesting. A lot of what's known about the Bureau is kind of the bigger, scarier things that come from these different planes of existence. But there's quite a lot of everyday sort of mundane things that seem to be influenced as well. So very lucky for having a sandwich a day. That's really great.
I don't leave my cubicle very much. I kind of show up. It's like another day in paradise. I just show up to work. I sit in my cubicle, I do my thing, and I go home.
Incredible. Every day, living the dream. Okay, so you are busy working. We have a couple other agents that we can check in on. And they happen to be walking together. Kay, why don't you tell us who your character is and what they're currently doing?
Absolutely. So I'm playing Dr. Denzel Jackson. He is a he has doctorate in paranormal and eldritch studies and also symbology. He's been with the Bureau for 46 years. He's close to retirement. He's so close. He's really a career man. He's been in field reclamation, field neutralization, lead researcher. Right now, today, he is bringing around a new recruit, as it were, showing them the ropes, showing them the building, showing them the monolith. He's pretty... looks pretty badass. He has some sick mutton chops. Although I guess, is it mutton chops when it connects with the mustache? I'm not 100% sure. Bit of a trench coat. He has a rifle, not rifle, but a gun. Right now he's talking about they've just reached basement 4, and he's saying to young Connor, so this is basement 4. There's a vending machine over here. The vending machine's over here on your left. They sometimes give you, what you looked for. Sometimes they give you 2, get 2 bottles of Coke instead of 1, which is great. Sometimes it gives you like a miniature toy version. It's really weird. It's very rare, but it has happened. There's the bathrooms with intermittent wailing. People have seen things, heard things, smelled things in there, and he's just going off.
Absolutely incredible. This new agent that you are allowing to tour around, why don't we figure out who they are? Deb, would you care to share?
Yes. I am Connor Brandt, field agent. This is my first day here in the Monolith. I'm very excited. I was okay in the academy and was really excited to make it here and hopefully won't fuck up too badly. Did all my onboarding stuff this morning. I've got my new gun, so that's really exciting. And I am a little concerned about how many of the lights are flickering down here in basement 4. It seems a little like not great working conditions, but yeah, maybe you get used to it. Maybe it's just today. I don't know. But I'm so excited to be here.
OSHA is not highly regarded with the Bureau, so the flickering lights are going to be a thing. Unfortunately, no matter how many times maintenance is called to change the light bulbs, there seem to be issues. Perhaps it's faulty wiring, perhaps it's the fact that we're sitting on a gateway to the paranormal. Hard to say. But yes, you will find in your time here that there is not a light that doesn't flicker in this building.
Does a person at least get used to the high-pitched whine that they're making, or?
Yeah, it does sort of slowly build up a sense of anxiety and dread in your body, but Excellent. You get used to that.
Okay.
And there are no therapists in the building to help with anything, so you're kind of just have to figure that out on your own, but I think you'll be fine.
Got it. Great.
Probably. Likely. So it's your first day. How did you get into this? What brought you to the Bureau?
I've always been a little interested in the paranormal, and I'm not really good at a whole lot of things. I just, it was sort of the option that seemed like the best. And I had one teacher who seemed to like me and said, go here. And I said, yes, sir.
That simple. Yeah, it definitely is. I don't mean this to offend you, but they'll take anybody, really. It is a job. It's hard to say it's got a high turnover rate because there are people like our two older agents that are with us today who have been here for many, many years. But field agents have a bit of a unique position in that they tend to disappear occasionally. Sometimes they reappear in different places or countries or times, but also sometimes, where they previously stood. It kind of just depends. So good luck. I think that was probably one of the things in your introductory packet was just sort of like sign away your life quite literally, and just a general thumbs up to you.
Great. I'm like carrying all of this like paperwork and stuff, and I'm trying to look back at something that I thought I remembered, and I just like drop all of these papers all over the floor. And oh shoot! Oh sorry. Let me. Okay. And I like pick them all up and shove them back in the folder.
So, Dr. Jackson, you're doing this tour. You're hitting all of the spots. What is one particular location on this tour that you feel is one of the most important places to show Agent Brandt?
One of the most important places. I mean, for me, it's IT because I keep messing stuff up. I keep breaking my laptop, and I don't know. It's just people are putting bugs on there. I don't know what's going on. But something important for young Connor to know about. Probably knowing where the director's office is the most important thing. Really having a strong connection with the director, or at least knowing where to find them if you ever need them.
Oh. I figured they would be too busy for someone like me. But yeah, if they've got time for everybody, that's great.
Yes, that's a very nice way of putting it. He definitely has time to use you in whatever capacity.
I'm ready to be used.
Fantastic. Well, as you continue your tour back up from basement 4, these basement levels are very small. A lot of them lead to different levels of like the parking garage below. You sort of make your way back up into the main lobby of the monolith, which currently appears to be going through some sort of dimensional shift. You see sort of this front desk where security is sitting, and the desk itself sort of shifts, and it looks for a moment like it's made of twisted vines and trees, like it's entirely organic material, and then it sort of shimmers and shifts back to the stone desk that it's made of. You'll see sort of up, this is sort of like a space with really high vaulted ceilings, and the lighting fixtures up there will shift into just like enormous fireflies, like frighteningly large fireflies that sort of spin around up top, and then they sort of hold in place again and turn back into the hanging lights that are found. Then you make your way past the security, kind Connor, you sort of fumble a bit as you try to find your badge that you were given. You haven't yet been to the office supplies where you get your little like pull out lanyard that you get to keep it on your hip. But you do find it, and you are able to make your way through. Dr. Jackson, you decide that now is the time to go up to visit the IT floor. We haven't seen a lot of the like physical elements that are assigned to new agents. So you did get your gun that was down one of the lower floors. You have all of your paperwork. Now you need your laptop, a company phone, and perhaps a couple other items that are provided to you as an agent of the Bureau. So you'll hop in the elevator, make your way up to the 4th floor where IT happens to be. And it just so happens that, Dr. Jackson, your favorite IT personnel happens to be there. We are looking at Agent Pritchett sitting at his desk. It looks like there's some paper that appears to have about a quarter of a sandwich left sitting there. And he's diligently working.
Oh, Jimmy, James, Jimbo, hey! I've come with a new recruit. Can we get them set up?
Hey, Denzel. You're almost retired. How many months do you have left?
God, I hope it's 3, but they might push it back another 4 or 5. I don't know.
It's fair. Remind me, what car do you drive again?
Kay doesn't know cars. An SUV.
That's your SUV that's parked like really close to the door, like super close to the entrance of the building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to park pretty far away and have to walk, a good 5 minutes. Do you know what they're doing with your parking spot after you retire?
I was assuming they'd make a memorial to me, but I don't know. Sometimes they just sell it to the highest bidder. I don't know if there's a process.
Yeah, fair enough. New guy. Working hard or hardly working?
Yeah. I'm getting a tour, and I realized that my lanyard has gotten like turned around, and I like try to grab it. My name tag is like in the back, and I'm like, I'm Connor, and I like hold out my picture.
Connor, nice to meet you. And I'll grab a laptop and a phone. I'll hand it over to Connor. So this is yours.
I don't.
Do you smell that?
Do you know anything?
Do you smell that?
No?
It smells like up dog in here. Anyways, yeah. So I'll give you your login information, and he'll scribble some stuff on a piece of paper and hand it over. Just make sure you change your password every, I think, like month or 2. We're not super serious about it.
Okay. Do you know anything about the cameras that take these IDs? I don't remember making this face.
There's cameras everywhere. They kind of just take your picture as you go into different thresholds and stuff like that. We don't have control over it. It's
just whichever one happens. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Cool. What was your name again? Jimbo? Jiminy?
James, Jiminy, Bridget. I don't know. Just call me whatever.
Whatever. Got it.
Yep. So, how's your first day?
Yeah, it's great. I am so glad I'm here. It's so cool in this building. I've always seen it from the outside, and I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah.
Does this feeling go away? I hope it doesn't. I hope it stays like this forever. I can tell that you're still excited to be here. You love it. You love your coworkers.
It's either you die or you end up staying here forever. It's
Well, I mean, you're still here, so that's awesome. You
I think
must be
everybody
so
ends
smart.
up being lifers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's great.
So as you make just the most awkward office small talk, getting to know you kind of stuff, you see a tall man beelining down the hallway. He looks a little harried. He's holding a file folder, and as he walks past the cubicles, he'll turn back and look to the three of you and just say, you three, in my office right now. And two of you know that is Director Holbrook. So he keeps walking. He doesn't care how quickly you follow behind him. But he asked you to head to his office.
Oh man, boss man's calling.
Speaking of the director.
Oh, that was the director?
That's Director Holbrook.
What does he want us for? What Oh man, wow. Am I ready? Do I look fine? Am I making this face? Oh, I don't. Oh.
Now you are. Better hustle.
Oh no, okay.
So you head down the hall and back to the elevator. The director's office is on a higher floor. He has not waited for you. He didn't hold the elevator door for you. He is long gone, and you head your way up. As you approach his office, you hear a secretary answering the phone, putting people on hold, answering a phone, putting people on hold, and just constant repetition. Things seem to be a little bit tense up on this floor. But you head into the office. The director has left his door open, and he stands there behind his desk, his back to you initially. You see him turn, and he swallows a big gulp of what you assume, given the decanter and the crystal glasses, is a lot of whiskey. He sets the glass down and turns to see you all there.
Mr. Director, sir, this is my first day. I'm so privileged to meet you. I just can't explain how delighted I am to be just in your presence, sir. I hope that you know that I'm going to work my hardest, and I'm ready to go. And Denzel has been giving me Doctor here has been giving me a great tour. And
I'm going to stop you right there, Agent. I really appreciate your enthusiasm. It's your first day, you said.
Yeah.
Today is your first day. Okay. That's fine. Everything is great. That's actually, this will be a great learning experience for you, I believe. I called the three of you here because you all show great promise. Agent, new guy, what's your name?
Me? Oh, I'm, and I like drop all my papers as I'm trying to fumble and find my ID card again. I'm Connor Brandt.
Agent Brandt. Yes, Brandt. I recall your name being brought up in certain circles.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yes, you apparently performed very admirably in the academy, and wow, we're so glad to have you. And the two of you obviously have been here for quite some time, Doctor and Agent. It is, as always, a pleasure to see you. And with folks of your skill set, we only choose certain people for particular missions, and just let's all sit down, and he'll lead you over to a conference table, sort of to the side of his room. He sits rather heavily in his chair before he realizes the decorum and sits a bit straighter. He has a folder in front of him that's closed. He waits for you all to be seated, and as you do, he'll just say, I need to brief you on something. We need you for a particular mission. 2 weeks ago at Coldwater Lake, a corruptive force was discovered. This force, which we're now calling the Shadow, it preys upon the unconscious aspects of an individual. Basically, like so much of what we see here in the monolith itself and within the Bureau, it's a warping, but not of space. This is of people. The effects vary based on the individual, but this corruption is acute and progressive, and it's been turning agents and employees of the Bureau into drones. They become not infected. It's not infectious, but it is corrupting. They become different. We've seen several agents change. They seem just a little off to begin with, and then over time it gets worse. So these drones become violent, still in their physical form. Generally speaking, they wreak some havoc. There's no better way to say it. People have died. We think that there's a third stage. We've seen some of these brutes turn into incorporeal ghouls. Again, nothing we haven't seen before, but the way that this is spreading is entirely unique. So I've been assembling small groups of agents, very skilled, talented, dedicated agents, such as yourselves, to help control the spread. You were chosen for a particularly delicate mission. Like I said, I've been sending small groups out to different floors, particularly those that haven't been protected from these dimensional shifts. Based on your security clearances, I'm sure that you're unaware that there are lower levels of the monolith. Yes, we have the basements and the parking garage and all that fun stuff, but there is a lower level. I am hesitant to even tell you about this, and I might have to pull some Men in Black bullshit in the end. I don't really know how things are going. This is unprecedented. But there is a lower level. This level, how much can I tell you without getting in trouble? I'm the boss. I can't get in trouble. I can tell you whatever I want. I'll have you killed if I don't like what I see. Everything's fine. The lower level is home to a laboratory. It's used for super classified experimentation. In the interest of maintaining a semblance of secrecy, that's all you need to know about the goings-on of the lower level. A small group of agents, 4 paranatural scientists, have been working on several projects in the lab. They're scheduled for check-ins that are mandated, and now they've missed several. So our fear is that the corruption has taken hold of them. I guess I'm sending you down to assess the situation. If there's any corruption present, if unfortunately these scientists have been taken over, I'd like for you to control the spread by any means necessary. And he'll look specifically to you, Connor, and just say, I trust you understand what I mean.
Of course. Yes, sir.
All right, great. See, this is why you were chosen for this mission. I like your gumption. Pritchett, you'll be tasked with hacking into the lab. I have a key card that allows me to go down to this lower level, but only the scientists have access into the lab itself. So I can get you down there, but we'll need your expertise to get us in there fully. Well, get you in there. I have to handle some other things. If you're able to disable the security system, whatever it is you need to do, you should be able to open the access door and get into the laboratory. Questions? He looks at you hoping that you don't have any questions, but knowing that you probably do.
Doesn't it seem like a bit of an oversight to not have any other key to get into the labs? That's just, I figure you're the director. You should have clearance everywhere.
Agent, the nature of what we're doing is highly sensitive. There are things that others can't know about, including myself. I am briefed on what goes on down there, but it's sort of an invite-only situation, if you understand. I need you to take this mission very seriously.
Of course. The most seriously I've ever taken anything in my life. I just... Yep, got it.
You know, if you succeed here, this could be very good for your career.
I've heard that people become lifers here, and I can't wait to be one of them.
I can assure you that you will give your life to the Bureau.
Yes, sir.
So could I just clarify what we're doing? We're just going downstairs. We don't have to actually do anything. We just basically are assessing things, figuring things out, seeing if it smells like up dog, and then coming back and reporting.
I'm sorry, smells like what?
Up dog.
I don't have time for this shit.
You mentioned up dog before. I don't know.
Are we just coming back, or are we expecting to do something?
You're correct, but you missed perhaps the most important part. There is corruption, likely, and you need to stop the spread. Is that clear? Any means necessary.
Gotcha.
Do we have protective gear? I mean, this gun is great, and I'm ready to use it, but do we need suits or breathing masks or
breathing masks? I'll take you to the armory. We'll make sure that you have the equipment that's necessary. We don't send our agents in poorly equipped.
Oh, the armory. I can't even believe it. Yes.
Yeah.
You're talking out loud. Do you know that?
What? Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of. I'm just so excited. Seeing so many things on my first day. I figured I'd be at a desk or something. This is so exciting.
It's incredible to see an agent with the light still in their eyes. This is heartwarming. I'm very glad for you. I hope that this is a wonderful team building experience, etc., etc. I need you all to move on this. All right. Any other task that you have, deprioritize. This is number one. Okay. So I will send you down. We'll get you access to getting the gear that you need, and then it's on you. Okay. I will give you my key card, and he'll sort of look between the three of you like, oh, Jesus Christ, who do I give this to? You're the tech guy here, and he'll hand it over to James. I will be needing this back, just so you know.
For sure.
Yeah, wonderful. And he will stand up abruptly, walk back over to his desk, hit the intercom button on his telephone, and call out to his secretary. his secretary is this. If you thought, Brant, that your two companions were older members of this bureau, you would be surprised then to see just the smallest old man walking into the room. He walks incredibly slowly and has quite a prominent hunch as he moves. Director just says, I need you to show these fine agents to the armory. We'll need to set them up with gear, whatever they need within reason. And he'll look to Brant specifically. And good luck. Report back when you're done. Great. And he'll just turn around, go back into his office, and sort of slam the door shut. You're left with Marcus, this lovely old man who walks you at a snail's pace to the elevators, down one floor, and to what looks like a storage closet. But you'll find as you walk in, there is a second door, and beyond that door is one of what you presume are many armories within the building. So he'll take you in, and you're able to grab some gear. Now you have gear on your character sheets, so we'll say that is what you have taken. As you look at your sheets, is there anything in particular that is not listed there that you think your character would have or request? We've got certain items for the characters, just for everyone watching. Some of them have different types of armor, like Kevlar vests. I believe everybody is equipped with a weapon of some kind, a service pistol. Some folks, like our field agent, have artillery, let's say, and then some items that are particular to each of these specialties. Does anybody else have any requests?
Good call on the respirator, new guy. I think we're gonna need it with all the updog down there.
I've never breathed updog, but I'm sure it's harsh. So yep, I would like, some sort of respirator would be good.
I think we should all take a respirator.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, feel free, add a respirator. As we play, if it's something that's needed, we'll be able to add to your armor scores if it's something that is related to breathing, etc. Anything else?
Don't have a lot about the nature of the shadow.
Yeah, so you've heard whispers about it here and there. Generally, it's something that is mostly talked about with the field agents, as they're the ones who have noticed that some of their colleagues have either gone missing or changed, been affected in some way or another. So you haven't had a ton of experience with it, but you have heard some things. You know that it sort of sweeps in like shadow. You don't know that it's hit until it's perhaps too late. You know that thus far, there haven't been any successes in relieving someone of this corruption. As of right now, and given what you were able to pull from what the director said, the assumption is that people just need to be neutralized, we'll say. I would say beyond that, it feels a little similar to things that you've studied before. You are very familiar with a lot of the paranatural elements that can be found both commonly and uniquely throughout the Bureau. And you've been around long enough to have seen many incidents, much like the Coldwater Lake incident, where this shadow was initially discovered. This is a bit different in that you have realized that everything else moves a bit slower. This seems to be expedited quite a bit. You started hearing whispers about a week and a half ago. The Coldwater Lake incident you found was 2 weeks ago. So this hasn't been around for very long, but clearly the director was harried today and very much seemed concerned about what's going on. So
I know I took these night vision goggles, but do you think we need a flashlight? Do we get, it's my first, do we get like comms or something where we can talk to each other in case we get separated? I don't know. Is it?
I like that.
Idea.
I was thinking, so yeah, flashlights, some sort of fire instrument. Fire is always good. We can try to, I don't know what the shadow is based in, so we could get some like holy symbols from all, like there's probably a whole bunch of from every religion, so you just grab whatever you need. I think we should grab some what else, like holy water. We should do some salt just in case, grabbing all the witchy stuff too. Sage, burn some sage just in case.
Perfect. You, I feel, fill the inner pockets of your enormous trench with all of the witchiest things that you can find. This particular room, it's a little sparse when it comes to the supplies that you're used to, but it definitely has enough to keep you all going. So you're able to get your witchy items. You've got comms. I think you have what you need at this point. So, are you ready to head to the lower level? Fantastic.
Let's go.
So you'll head down. On the first floor, you were given instruction to go to the elevator, and there is apparently a panel within the elevator that you can pop open that has a couple extra buttons that aren't seen on the main panel. So you're able then to scan the key card that belongs to Director Holbrook, and a button sort of lights up that shows LLL. Lower level. And you hit the button and the elevator begins to descend. So you were a couple floors up. You'll head your way down bit by bit, and you'll see as the lights change, you're hitting the basement levels, down basement level 3, basement level 4, and you presume next would come this lower level. But you keep going down further and further and further, what feels like the entire height of the building itself, very, very low below the building. And suddenly the elevator comes to a stop. You see the doors open, and you'll find that there is a small hallway, and at the end of the hallway is a large set of security doors. As you approach, there are like lights around the door that glow, indicating that it can sense the presence of people nearby. And you hear just sort of a low beeping that begins as you get close. And an access panel lights up with a screen, and it says, present credentials. What would you like to do?
So I imagine as we're going down this super long elevator ride, James is just talking everybody's ear off about something super random. Like, you know that there's a correct way to put toilet paper on the roll. You know, a lot of people think that you put the paper on the side against the wall and you pull it out. But if you actually go to the US Patent Office, when you look at the actual patent and figure number 3, when there's an image of it, you can see that the toilet paper roll is actually supposed to dispense from like towards you, closer to you than it is against the wall. So technically there is a correct way to put toilet paper on a roll. I've been telling Sandra this for like a month now and she still won't believe me. And so I've been sneaking into the washrooms, making sure that all the toilet papers are on in the correct way. And I don't know why Sandra gets so upset whenever I sneak into the washrooms. She's kind of crazy. I don't get it. But yeah, just so you guys know that there is a correct way to actually put toilet paper roll on the roll. And if you ever do need like evidence, I can pull up the patent for you anytime. I'll send you an email. Can I get you guys' phone numbers? I'll definitely text it to you too if you'd like. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, it's,
we're here.
555-3427. I would really appreciate the patent information. That'd be helpful.
Yeah. I'll send that over. Do you think I use the key card on this panel?
I guess we could try. I don't know if is this where you're supposed to hack in? Maybe
there's a scanner, and you go ahead and you scan Director Holbrook's card, and the screen above flashes red, and it says access denied, and some lights begin to flash around you in red, and nothing else happens at the moment, but it's not going to work with Holbrook's key card. You do have a laptop on you, so presumably you can use all of your skills to hack in.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you roll a D4 for me? Let me know what you get.
A 2.
A 2, okay. So you, out of your pack, you pull out a small working laptop. You have a jumble of cords, some of which you're not really sure what they go to, but you'd hate to not have them just in case. And you try to see if there's any way to plug in to the security system there. It's hard to see. But after some doing, you're able to use your just incredible hacker skills. You're able to find, I mean, listen, hopefully nobody knows, but you fucked around with security access before. I mean, perhaps the director knows. He did choose you specifically for this mission.
It's really silly. All you have to do is press Alt-Tab, and then you can kind of close the system's like windows, and then you just end up in Windows. I don't know if they know that.
That is, in fact, all it takes. So you are able to to hack in fully. The red flashing lights cease, the screen glows green, access granted, and the large set of doors slide open, and you walk into a lab. It's a large laboratory. There are several different there are tables set up. There seem to be different sections. Some of them have what appears to be biological matter. There are some plants growing, some that look kind of just like an herb garden. Others look a little bit different, like Venus flytraps and pitcher plants and sort of more unique plants that you haven't really seen before. There are sections that have test tubes and beakers and, oh my God, John? Sorry, guys, the chat's flying. Yeah, so it's a very well equipped lab. There's a lot of machinery and computers as well. Things that are familiar, a lot of things that are unfamiliar, but it appears to be empty as far as you can tell. As you step further in, feel free to take a gander and let me know if you're looking for anything in particular.
Are the things that were being experimented on somewhat, like, can I make a tangential relation between them? So, like, is the organic matter and the plant matter, do they seem to be all carbon? Are they all that kind of thing?
Yeah, so with the plants in particular, you see under some grow lights, there are labels that are gently pushed as if that was an herb garden into the pots, and they're labeled like differently, but the plants look rather similar. However, as you approach and get closer, you're able to see that there is a control and a test, and the test options seem to be arcane or somewhat unnatural. They tend to sort of pulse with a glow. Some of them become glittery and incorporeal. You'll see others will shrivel and then grow quickly again. It's very interesting. You know that a lot of this paranatural phenomenon does happen within plant life. It seems to be an easy spread and sort of like a quick lifetime to adapt and change. So that doesn't really create any concern or anything like that. You do see on one of the lab tables quite a lot of petri dishes that are closed off. Some of them are also under what looks like a heat lamp. Others appear to be sitting on, this is not where they invented Viagra, okay? That is in basement level 3, Miko. Goodness. Christ. I'm thinking about like paranatural boners now, so let's move on from that. There are elements in a few of these in particular that do cause you to pause. You can see that there is just what appears to be sort of black smoke sort of roiling around in one. It sort of condenses down into like a pea-sized ball of smoke and then sort of expands out to the far reaches of the petri dish and goes back in. In moments where it seems a bit more explosive, the petri dish will sort of shift, and you've realized that one of them has sort of shifted its way towards the edge of this lab table. But what really interests you is something sort of mundane. In the corner of the room, I believe you have the ability to identify resonant artifacts. I think as given your studies and your experience, it's easy for you to see what these resonant artifacts look like. They are a bit unique, and you see something in particular that you point out to the rest of the group. It's just a stack of Post-it notes. That's it. It looks pretty simple, but you're able to kind of see It's mostly a feeling, but it's as if it casts a glow. And as you go over, there is a small notepad next to the post-it notes, and it says activation. Place note on a solid surface. Would you like to do anything with that information?
I think I would know better than to play with these things, but I want to play with these things. Has everyone else been looking at stuff as well, or is that just my character?
I feel like everyone is kind of seeing everything. With your experience with all of this, I would imagine that Dr. Jackson is pointing out different items.
I think Connor probably reached out to touch one of the glittery plants, and he smacked his hand away.
Yeah, you got kind of like what feels like a burn from battery acid, just a little bit. Not enough to do any real damage, but it stings a little bit.
It's a spicy plant. It's really, really exciting.
I feel like all of this is beyond what James knows and understands, so he's just kind of floating around.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some very old-looking computers here, like, late 60s sort of massive computers. But as you sort of, hit a button on them, just sort of a basic lock screen pops up, and it does look very modern. So you're not quite sure what that's all about, but it looks like they might have some pretty decent computing power, given just the sheer size of them. What is Dr. Jackson up to?
Sorry?
No, I was going to say, do you leave the post-its where they are?
I'm very wary about the smoke, but I don't want to really touch or look at it. Yeah, I want to look at the post-its. I want to. This does something. Apparently when you put the note on something else, I don't know if you have to write on it first. I don't know what it does. I assume it's dangerous if it's down here.
Looks like just a regular post-it note. What do you mean? Is there anything written on it?
Well, there's a notepad next to it with what seems like instructions about activating the object, but...
As you stand there, holding the post-its, the lights down here flicker. They were already flickering a little bit, just, given the nature of shitty light bulbs and, being so close to a planar barrier. But you see the lights flicker quite a bit more. In fact, they go out after a few moments.
Connor?
It wasn't me. Connor will both put on the night vision goggles and turn a flashlight on.
Ow.
You turn on the flashlight. It doesn't really go. You smack it a couple times and look at it and are blinded for approximately 10 seconds. But yeah, you're able to sort of look around. The night vision goggles are really kind of fun. Everything glows in a bright green. It's a little funky to see where you can see the glow of the flashlight hitting different objects, but you're able to sort of look around a bit. The lights sort of flick on and off again briefly, and then suddenly they're on once more. As the lights brighten again, you take off the night vision goggles. Another 10 seconds of having a hard time seeing, which is a shame, because if you were able to see immediately, you would notice that there are 3 entities across the lab near the door that you entered. I'm going to pull up a map. What do you say, folks?
Ooh, boy.
Ooh, boy. So this is the lab you're in. I would say that you're actually across the way looking at different things. And these shadows sort of pop up in different spots across the way. Not that guy. He's gone. So these figures are humanoid, but not. They are shifting and moving. They look like smoke and ink and sinew, and they move by floating, but there's also a hitch in the way that they step or float. You see, as things morph across their faces, it looks like worms or vines or something, and then it turns to shadow once again, and you see a flash of what looks like perhaps a human face underneath. These horrifying beings. I would like for each of you to roll a d4 for me.
Sure.
I got
2.
a 1.
Okay. So Deb and Kay, you will each take 1 point of stress. Andrew, you're going to take 2, as the sight of these ghouls frightens you beyond anything that you've felt before. They move forward, closing in on you just a bit. And we're going to go ahead and have a little interaction with them. Could I have you each roll another d4 just really quick to see the turn order?
One of my abilities is that I automatically get the jump on combatants and act first in initiative order.
Yes, you do. Okay, Andrew, you got 2.
I got 4.
Okay, awesome. So you guys will all go first. Deb, we're going to have you take 2 actions. So what would you like to do to start?
What'd you learn in the academy?
Yeah.
Shoot first, ask questions later is what I learned. And so I'm going to shoot at the 2 on the lower part of the screen.
Okay. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm making some rolls for them right now. Okay, yeah, so as you shoot, you're doing both of the ones at the bottom of the screen, you said?
Yep.
So as you aim for the first, the one in the center, you shoot, and as you do, in a split second, this entity is sort of in the middle of sort of like a phase. So your bullet passes through them and bounces off of the door behind, sort of ricocheting, and you hear it sort of smash into a screen or something made of glass. You can't really tell, you're too focused. You take a shot at the second, and it happens to be in sort of a corporeal phase, so you are able to make contact, and you can roll damage for it.
8.
Incredible. So as you make contact with it, you hear this horrendous shriek. It's like a whistle and a groan morphed together. You see what appears to be like a red-black blood that spurts through. The bullet passes through and through, but it's left with a huge gaping wound. If it had a normal form, you would think it falls to its knees as it gets a little bit smaller, but it still seems to be active. Okay, and then I'm going to jump to Andrew up next with James. Oh, and you're able to move wherever you want to if you needed to move. There's no like speed or distance or anything like that.
Yeah, I think James has a service pistol. I think this is the very first time he's ever actually pulled it out ever. And so he'll pull it out very shakily and try to take a shot at this one here at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and this one happens to be in a corporeal phase the moment you shoot. So go ahead and roll for damage.
6.
6. Okay, yeah. So very similarly to what you saw when Connor shot, the bullet passes. This one sort of sticks in to its body. You don't hear it pass through fully, but you do see once again this black blood with glimmers of red sort of pouring out of it. This one remains standing tall, but it does appear to also be slowed a bit. Dr. Jackson, what do you do?
Damn, this is my worst nightmare. Well, I guess I have a service pistol too, and it seems to be working. So I will try shooting the one that Connor already injured, if I can time it right.
Yeah, you guys are doing great, timing wise. Yes, so go ahead and roll some damage as you make a shot at that ghoul.
I got a 5.
All right. Yeah, once again, this hits, the bullet sticks in, it begins to bleed. Another wail rings out, and as it screeches, the other two screech along with it, and this frequency that they hit is really jarring. And let's see. Woof. So I rolled to affect your stress. So you'll be able to reduce the damage that I'll tell you about by your stability score. So you can go ahead and subtract that from the 3 points of stress that it will cause you.
Okay. I'm gonna use my Shadow Scholar ability as well, if I have both of those. And so once per session, I can ignore basically a point of stress. So I'm gonna do that. I'll just take 2, or just none, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. And a reminder with this system, with the stress and your hit protection points, you can replenish those with a brief moment of respite. So it doesn't have to be a rest of any kind, but if you're able to find cover, take a round to make yourself safe, you'll be able to replenish your hit protection and a couple of your stress. So we're going to go back to Deb. You have one more action given your abilities before they go.
I will blast again at the center one.
Incredible. Go for it. Yeah, you're going to make some contact.
6.
6. Okay. So when it hits the middle entity, the bullet lodges in its neck, and this black-red blood spurts out. You see the form shifts, almost like a glitch in a way. And you see a human face, and then it goes back to this shadow form, and as this blood continues to pour, turning to smoke and then blood again, it falls to the floor. And as it falls, you see it has turned back into a person. This man wearing a lab coat laying on the floor. As you see him drop, you also see that the other two move forward. So I'll have them come close to you. One is directly in front of you, Dr. Jackson and Agent Brandt. This will let out another wail and not do anything, but it really hurts your ears. But as it continues to pass through, it's going to move through your space, Dr. Jackson, and appear behind you. And as it passes through you, you feel your body enveloped in something that's kind of familiar to you. It feels kind of like icy hot, Ben Gay, you put on your aching knees, but it is your whole body just engulfed in this icy flame. And you're going to take 1 point of damage, which can be reduced, I believe, given armor if you've got it. But you feel this settle into you. And the entity that has come forward, seemingly coming towards you, Pritchett, you see it sort of reaches out a hand, and as it does, vine-like tendrils that form and unform shoot towards you. And as they hit, you are hit square in the chest. It pushes you back. You sort of slam into the containers that are behind you with a thud. And you're going to take 2 points of damage, reduced by whatever your armor is. We're going back up to the top. Deb, you are going to start us off again.
I notice this one heading toward Jimbo, and I know that he's a desk guy, and I'm worried about him. So I yell out, "Take cover!" And I'm gonna toss a grenade over the top of the equipment in the middle.
You are going to do that. That is a thing that you are choosing to do in an underground laboratory. I love this for all of us. It's been a great night, you guys. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. Okay, go ahead and roll damage for me. Why don't you?
That is only 3.
Okay, that's probably good, I would say. So as you launch this grenade, presumably the first time you've ever held a grenade in your hands, you pull the pin and you lob it, and honestly, it feels fucking cool. It feels like every video game you've ever played. You have a moment of excitement, and that quickly fades away as it explodes. You don't really see what happens, but Agent Pritchett does. And what he sees is this shadow bonked in the head with a grenade that then explodes. You can't see where this shadow entity goes, but the explosion is interesting. It releases, there is a wave, you feel the heat from it, you can hear the shattering of glass from the other side where different beakers and test tubes have just entirely exploded. The side of this large tank, which you don't know what it contains, is blown out and sort of tilts forward, almost as if it's going to fall on you, Brandt. But one thing that you're able to see, Andrew, is it explodes, and then the smoke and the fire sort of compress again within the center of this shadow entity, and then they explode out once more. The shadow entity is gone, and sort of cinders rain down. There is nothing left of that shadow entity. However, I will say that, Pritchett, you're going to take 2 damage, and Agent Brandt, the big tank does in fact fall and bops you on the head for 3 damage. How's everybody doing? How are we feeling damage-wise? Yeah, Dr. Jackson, feeling good.
This is how he survived so long, just not just correct positioning.
I don't fuck with that. Okay, yeah, so that's another one exploded and gone. So we're just left with the one that's standing in front of you, Dr. Jackson. And right now it happens to be Pritchett's turn. After seeing this explosion before you, this sort of strange engulfment of this entity, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think James is going to take a second to panic. Just
yeah.
If there's nobody close to him, but if you were close to him, you would hear him singing to himself, just to kind of soothe himself.
What is he singing?
He's singing, "Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me, for sure."
Incredible. Yeah, you sing to yourself. Are you taking this as a moment to replenish your
yeah, if I can. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, take a moment, take a breath. You've just witnessed some horrible things. So we'll jump back over to Dr. Jackson.
Yeah, he really didn't like what just happened with it going through him, but he'll spin around and try to take another shot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll some damage, as it is in its corporeal form.
5 again.
5. Yeah, okay, so you blast through this guy. It's sort of, given your close proximity, it does sort of shoot back and lands against this pallet of shit, who knows. And as it crashes against it, it turns back into another human form. This time it is a woman, not wearing a lab coat, but she does have a name tag that's hanging. And the room is quiet again. You look around and you see the 2 remaining bodies. People who worked for the Bureau. Perhaps not people that you knew. They did very particular secret work, but they were agents. The room is in rather extreme disrepair, we can say. It'll take quite a while to repair what has been broken here tonight, but those shadow entities, those corrupted scientists, have been dealt with. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna go over and, like, I don't want to touch the bodies, but I want to, like, maybe poke them with the barrel of my gun and see if they're, like, 1, actually dead, and 2, I don't know, if they've got any, like, I'll see if they've got any other signs of anything on them beyond what we did to them.
Gold coins in their pockets,
sure,
things like that. Yeah. Which one do you go to first? There's the scientist that is slammed up against the pallet of shit, and then there's also the one sort of across the way.
The scientist against the pallet of shit.
Okay. So as you approach her, she looks like she was a relatively young woman, but you see black spreading veins through her face, these sort of like tendrils of shadow. They are fading. You can sort of poke her with your gun or whatever you'd like, and she doesn't move. She is very clearly dead. You have some medic training, so you're able to quickly see that she is certainly not alive. Upon further examination, you do note that there is a pen in her pocket, a small notepad. When you take it out, you can see that there are just sort of scribbled notes. A lot of it is to-do list sort of things that have been crossed off. But in one of the larger pockets, the primary pockets of this jacket, there is a journal. The journal has very particular notes. It seems like she might have specialized in biology. You're able to see a lot of notes on the plant matter, the different experiments that they've had. As you sort of flip through, you can see notes on the plants that perhaps you touched that has sort of that battery acid-like effect when touched. Perhaps it would have been nice to have known this before you did, but you continue flipping through, and the last pages seem to have been torn out, but that's all that's in that journal. Looking a little bit further, you'll note in her jean pocket the pages of the journal that have been torn out. And this appears like the other entries, but this is, it doesn't have the same notes. There aren't any drawings or diagrams like she's done on the other pages of the journal. This is sort of like a letter that she's written. And it says, I cannot keep this to myself any longer. The work that we do here, while groundbreaking, carries a tremendous weight. There's a cost to our relentless pursuit of knowledge, collateral damage that we often overlook or, worse, justify. The spread of the shadow within the monolith has been escalating at an alarming rate. It's not random. It's a direct consequence of the interdimensional portal located in the second lower level. This portal, once a controlled experiment, has become a conduit for the shadow's advance. I brought my concerns to Director Holbrook 4 days after Coldwater Lake. I told him about the potential for widespread corruption and the looming threat of a more powerful shadow entity. He dismissed my warnings and downplayed the risk. I fear he's more interested in the potential power and knowledge to be gained than in safeguarding his own people. The portal and the second lower level must be closed. I have studied the entity poised to come through, an incredibly powerful shadow being that defies our understanding and control. If it breaches our world, the consequences will be unimaginable. I've come to terms with the grim reality of our work. We're not just scientists, we're custodians of Pandora's box, and it's our duty to prevent the horrors within from escaping. I can only hope that my revelations will prompt action before it's too late. And it's signed, Dr. Jane Hargrove.
Doctor, this feels above my pay grade since it's my first day. I don't know, do you want to take this and look at it?
I'll take it, I'll read it. My brow furrows even further than you could think is possible, and I've been here 46 years. So it was my 68th birthday recently, and these bastards.
Hey, Jimbo, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. And he'll kind of saunter up and look at you guys. Thank God it's Friday, right?
Is it Friday? I thought it was Monday.
Is it?
It's Friday.
Oh boy.
Are we good to go? Did we do the thing?
Well, we did one thing, and it seems like there's another thing, because there's another lower level. With the worse thing.
I don't remember what thing we were supposed to take care of. I thought we were supposed to just go to the lab, take care of the things here, then we could go.
Yeah, I think stop the corruption, get rid of the scientists if they're corrupted.
I think we call that a job well done, you know? It's 5 p.m. somewhere else. The director was already drinking. I feel like we could go.
As Agent Pritchett says that, Dr. Jackson, you see that after the tank had fallen from the explosion, from the grenade that was thrown,
Yeah.
you notice a lab table that it didn't seem very consequential to you before, but you see objects, mundane objects, but each of them have a little label next to them. And you recognize these as resonant artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel it's a vibration that you can sense having worked with them for so long. There are a few different items. You see like a small globe, there's a lighter, a Polaroid camera, a hat, a few other things. And they're just sort of sitting there.
What are do the little tags say what they kind of are, what they do, or just?
Yeah, so each of the tags, it names the item. Like, for example, you look at the small globe. It says small globe, activation, rotate counterclockwise. Attract small objects and pieces of detritus that orbit the user. Rotate clockwise to release the objects. You look further and you see this Zippo lighter. The paper next to it says, activation, ignite the flame. Causes a blast of fire, D6, to manifest at a target. The Polaroid camera, activation, take a picture of a target. As the photo develops, the target is frozen in place. Once the image becomes clear, the target is no longer frozen. As you sort of examine the camera, you see on the back, the little sort of number counter shows 3. There are 3 photos left. Can one of you roll a d4 for me?
Sure, I will.
Hell yeah.
That is a 2.
Okay. Also on this table, you see a hat. As you look at it, on the front of it, it says Coldwater Lake. The piece of paper says activation, place on head, brim backward. Causes the user to oscillate slightly, allowing them to phase through solid objects at will. Costs 1d4 HP. You also see a piece of chalk. Activation, draw an item. I'll send you all of these, Kay. You don't have to scribble so furiously.
Oh, okay.
I really appreciate your diligent note-taking. I think it also fits your character, but don't hurt yourself. Chalk, activation, draw an item. Whatever is drawn becomes real. Roll 1d6. On a d6, permanent dimensional shutters also occur. There are 3 uses, it seems, given the amount of chalk that's left. You also see, I really like your roll. You also see a set of jacks and a rubber ball. The note next to it says activation. Bounce the ball. Throw the jacks at a target. They'll embed themselves in the target's body and burst like small fireworks. The target takes a 1d4 damage.
Gnarly.
The last item is a replica ring from Lord of the Rings. Activation, put on the ring. The wearer disappears from sight, reappearing when the ring is removed. The user gains 1d4 stress.
Sick.
I'll send these to you. Just so you have them.
I think Connor wanders over and is like, oh, cool, a camera, and points it at Jimmy and takes a picture.
Yeah, absolutely. So you take this picture, and what were you doing, James?
Just walking, like just standing there, not doing anything.
Okay, yeah, you were standing there, but as you take the picture, you can tell that he freezes entirely. He doesn't blink. His hair doesn't move with the shitty air conditioning that's being pumped through here. He's entirely frozen. The picture sort of pops out of the camera as you would expect any Polaroid camera to do. Although, how old is your character? Are they familiar with a Polaroid camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seen one.
They're
coming back into both,
true,
right?
That is true. So you remove the photo, and it's sort of faded. As it comes back into play, you see your friend standing there, frozen entirely. What do you do?
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Connor. Why you freeze him?
That's what this does?
Yeah, look, there's little tags. Have you never been to a museum?
I mean, it's too much to read. I don't just, like to push all the buttons in a museum and...
Shake the picture, maybe it'll come back faster.
I'll start to shake it and then also point the camera toward Denzel.
No!
Saying that there are two left.
Are you going to take a picture?
I think Denzel probably shouts, no! And they're like, stop.
As you shake the Polaroid picture, it doesn't help it develop any faster, but it feels fun. But eventually, the picture does appear in full form, and as it does, Agent Pritchett is able to move again.
Well, that was weird.
Were you conscious that whole time, or?
I think so. I felt like I was holding my breath for like a minute.
How long was it?
I don't know. How long do those fucking things take to, like a minute?
Like a minute?
Let's say it's a minute.
Oh, that's a cool replica ring. Did you know that Viggo Mortensen broke his toe when he kicked that helmet across the field?
I have heard that once or twice before, but it's always good to be reminded.
I'll take the ring and put it on.
You're gone. You disappear. Also, roll a d4 for me.
It's a 1.
Great. Okay, so you would take 1d4 minus 1 stress. So you're cool as a cucumber. You are a big fan of these movies, so you know that when you put the ring on, the horrors that Frodo saw, and it doesn't faze you at all. You're fine. Everything does appear to be clouded, and but it's kind of cool. You're kind of excited about it, really.
I'll push the picture take button on the Polaroid if it's still pointed towards Denzel.
What was Denzel doing? What motion are you frozen in?
I think he was going to try one of the post-it notes, since it didn't say what it did exactly. So he was putting one, about to slap one on the wall. So he's in a high five position.
Incredible. Yeah, you're frozen in a high five position.
I'm just gonna keep high-fiving them until the minute's up.
the minute's up. Your wrist kind of hurts a little bit, Dr. Jackson. You're not really sure why. As you sort of looking around at the other items and thinking what fuckery you can get yourselves into next, the lights flicker again. And 8 to 10 minutes? Okay, well, this is a different one. This is an interdimensional Polaroid camera. It takes about a minute, let's say. Fuck. I did not know that. That's wild. Okay. So the lights flicker again. They go out completely. Oh my God. That's so stupid.
There's no film in it, unfortunately.
Damn it! Yes. I was gonna say, put us on your fridge. So the lights flicker, and you feel a rumble. The space around you starts to change. You're outside, you're inside again, you're in the director's office, you're at your cubicle, you're by the vending machines. Everything sort of shifts and shakes, and you feel like the room is spinning. I would say that everyone, except for our newbie, understands that this is a dimensional shift. They're common, but this is very intense. It feels very strong, and you assume that it's because you're closer to this gate that was described in the letter. But then things sort of subside. The rumble is still slightly present.
Do we confront the director? Do we try to deal with this? Do we just go home for...
I mean, are we gonna get overtime?
It has been a full day, but I you know, the note said that the scientist tried to talk to the director and he didn't do anything. So I think it's if we want to honor her memory, since we killed her, we should probably try and take care of it.
Let the new guy decide, I guess. Then they can take all the credit, or, you know, take the fall if...
I am retiring soon, so if this doesn't go well, it'll be fine.
I mean, it's gonna go great, and then you can be like, listen, this was my last mission, it went so well, I'm done now. And you can set up the memorial Dr. Denzel parking spot.
Oh, amazing.
How does Jimbo feel about that?
Jim wants to go home. It's done for the day.
Well, I meant the parking spot. The memorial parking spot.
We'll probably still use it.
Tie his bicycle up to it.
No, he drives a Prius.
It'll fit. It's fine. How big does this monument have to be? Yeah, so you stand there, things are rumbling. What are you gonna do?
How do we access the lower level lab 2?
That's a great question.
In the elevator, is there a panel like that says 2LLL, or?
It's a big flashing sign that says lower, lower, lower level. Just kidding, that doesn't exist. Kay, you were saying?
Yeah, can I try the post-it notes? I feel like this might be a key.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you take a post-it note. Where do you put it?
I choose a random wall.
Yeah, so you put the post-it note on the wall, and as you do, the post-it note itself disappears, but a hole forms where the wall is. And I don't know how dainty your hands are, but it just, you can see that you can see like the concrete around the edges. It just has formed a hole through all of this. And if you shine a flashlight in, you'll see The hole goes pretty far in. The concrete walls are incredibly thick, but it does come to a stop, and you can kind of see it looks like dirt, stone, something a bit more natural.
Jim, do you think you can get the elevator to bring us down any lower?
Maybe.
If not, we could make a hole, maybe. I don't know how far down the next level is, but...
I'll go over to the panel to see if I can.
Yeah. So when you inspect the panel, it's not... there's no obvious button that says lower level 2. But as you take a look further, I mean, it's an elevator just like any other. You could try to, I don't know, look deeper. You can try to, I mean, if you wanted to attempt something with the Post-it notes, you're welcome to. Yeah, if you bring a Post-it note in there and you put it on the floor of the elevator, once again, a hole exactly the size of this little Post-it note forms, and you see it go through the layers of metal, and there is some clearance below, but it's not very far. And when you sort of like look to the side, you can see it just sort of looks like you're at the bottom of an elevator shaft. Feeling slightly let down at that, you continue to look around the room, and as you're exploring, you do note that the tile floor is pristinely clean. This is a very well-kept lab, was a very well-kept lab. And you notice that underneath one of the rolling carts that has various notes and more petri dishes and a microscope, under that cart there is what appears to be a hatch. So you're able to move the cart out of the way and open this hatch. When you open it, you see that there's a spiral staircase, and it seems to go down pretty far. As you descend, it's a little bit dizzying. It's really dark down there. You do see that there's a light towards the bottom. And as you reach the bottom, you find yourself in a corridor. It's well lit. These bulbs don't flicker. They are lit, and you see when you first walk in, more lights glow further and further down this long corridor. You can't quite see the end of it yet. It does sort of curve just a bit. But as you walk through, you walk for what's about 100 yards. And at the end of the hall, there is another security door.
I guess I could hack into this one too. So I'll slowly pull out his laptop and connect all the wires, slowly humming to himself as he tries to hack into this door.
Yeah. Shockingly, for a super secret government organization, it is as simple as it was getting into the lower level lab. Maybe you're just that good. It's hard to say. But you are able to open up this door. And as it opens, you are able to see, your eyes are immediately drawn to something directly across the room from you. It's a large space, but you see this enormous circular gate that shimmers and glows with a bluish white light. As you look at it, it's sort of, it seems almost like there's glass across it, but then as things shimmer, that fades away and it looks open and things can move, and then it once again appears like it's covered. You've never seen anything quite like it, but this space is huge. It seems to, it's got really high vaulted ceilings. There are pipes and computers and just about anything that you can imagine in this space. But you're particularly drawn to this gate as another shutter hits the space, and you are made aware of how close you are to this planar barrier, to this gate into, you don't even know. Is it just a barrier to this mortal realm? Is it a barrier to a specific place? Sort of motes of light shine behind it, and you see, once again, scenes that are familiar to you. You see, even for the briefest moment, a flash of the three of you at Pritchett's desk talking earlier, and you change and you no longer look like yourselves, but you look like the shadows that you just fought and killed. And then it goes back to being a glass-covered gate. There's lightning that flashes within it. There's flame. It's beautiful and terrifying and entirely unique. And I'm going to, Miko, you can pull up the next map that we have, and I'll let you take a look and see what you'd like to see in the space. You've all entered on the far end over here, and you can take a look. The room keeps shuddering every 15 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. It's not a pattern that you can tell, it just happens.
You guys smell that?
Yeah, it does smell like up dog down here, I get it.
It smells like up dog.
Wow, I want to go up and look kind of over the edge and look down.
Yeah, absolutely. So you walk over, you look down, you see ventilation tubing and wires, and as you look further down, it continues down about as high up as this goes. You have to sort of remind yourself not to get too close to the edge, because it doesn't look very forgiving down at the bottom there. Although you're not quite sure if it is the bottom, it just sort of fades from view. The light from this gate flickers every so often, and you think you can see the end of it, but you're not even sure at this point. There's a deep, resonant hum that comes from this gate, and you can sort of, as you've gotten closer, feel it vibrating through the floor. Your feet sort of tingle with it. You see closer to the gate a control panel. The floor sort of glows below it, and up above you, kind of where you're standing, Connor, there's a staircase that leads to a generator that's glowing blue, and it sort of buzzes as well.
Hey, Jimbo, do you want to try and hack that thing? I think, maybe you've done such a smash-up job so far. I think, maybe you can do this one too.
We can do that. Walk over to the control panel and see what's what.
Yeah, absolutely. So you head over to this control panel, and there are elements of it that seem pretty straightforward to you. There are a few switches that seem to adjust the power level. There are some that note, open and closed. There are parts of it that adjust the air conditioning down here. It's kind of like a catch-all for all of the elements down in this lower level. And it looks like the screen that's on this panel is it's cracked.
Does it seem responsive if I try to choose an option?
Yeah, so you'll see it sort of begins to glow. It has that look like when you push on a Game Boy screen, the old ones, and it's not quite right. But you are able to get it going a little bit. It sort of flickers on, and then shortly after, it sort of fades and turns off again.
I don't know if it's working. It says I can close it. Should I just try to close it?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I'll try to close it.
Yeah. So you flip the switch, the on-off switch for this interdimensional gate, and nothing happens. You try a few times. Again, nothing. Eventually, getting frustrated. It's been a long time since you ate that sandwich from the fridge. You're getting a little hangry. You kick the control panel, and it lights up again. Still faded. It's looking like it's on its last leg. But you flip the switch once more, and the light coming through the gate sort of starts to diminish. It deadens more and more. The rumbles that you've been feeling become lighter until they stop entirely. And it sort of focuses into a fine light. And things are quiet as it starts to fade. And then suddenly it bursts forward again. The crackling energy surges. You're sort of blown back a bit. You land on your ass there by the control panel. And the crackling lightning moves beyond the window itself. It sort of comes through and it lights up the ground around you, and it becomes not lightning, but vines, and then tendrils of oil and smoke, and they disappear. And through this gate, you see shadow, similar to the shadow figures that you fought, reaching through, and as they sort of coalesce and form into one single arm, a large arm that pulls its way through. You see a form creeping out that, let's see, let's make that bad boy just a little bit bigger. You see something more horrible than you've ever witnessed in your lives. It is large. It is 10 feet tall. It has humanoid limbs, but it appears to be formed from shadow individuals, multiple people, all combined. You see shimmers of faces like you did with the other shadows, but then you see eyes in other parts of its body. You see its arms reach out, and the arms are horrifying. It has claws. It's dripping with goo. You're not sure what it is exactly, but it feels bad. And you will all, as it releases a violent screech, take 3 points of stress, reduced however you're able to reduce it, as this creature steps forward onto the platform. And we're gonna do something about it, aren't we? So, Deb, you get to go first, as always. Can I have the rest of you roll as well? Just a D4.
4 again for me.
4 from Kay.
I got a 1.
Got a 1. Okay, wonderful. So Deb, I'll have you start.
I am going to yell at James to duck, and I'm gonna toss another grenade.
Yes, you are. Go ahead and do that, you maniac.
6 damage.
Yeah, absolutely. So you lob this grenade forward. You've got a good arm. You might have played a sport, hard to say. But you are able to launch it pretty directly. It lands at the feet maybe, of this creature. And it explodes. And as it does, the glass below it cracks. It hasn't shattered fully where it stands. The creature is engulfed in flame, and it burns brightly. It hurts your eyes to see. It seems like the body is made of oil and muck, and it lights in flame. You hear another piercing screech, and you'll all take 1 point of damage, physical damage, as it ripples through. It moves forward, sort of staggering a bit with the damage. And then
I want to yell out, Doctor, throw James the chalk. Draw a new control panel.
Nice. I think, Andrew, you rolled low.
I rolled a 1.
You got a 1? Yeah, so you'll go next.
I'm gonna put on the ring.
Wonderful. Yeah, you put on the ring and you disappear. And then I'd like for you to, once again, roll a D4.
I got a 2.
2. Okay, so you'll take 1 point of stress. You disappear entirely. The stress doesn't come from putting the ring on your finger. It's from the fear of the situation in general. And you can still see this creature. It looks different. It looks smaller, slightly less imposing for a moment, and then it flashes big once again, but it keeps pulsing down into a smaller form. It looks around. It doesn't appear to see you. You think, at least for the moment, that you are going undetected by it.
Question. So my stress, I'm fully stressed out. So when I take that 1, what happens?
So when you take the 1, it will adjust your control score. So you'll lose 1 point of control.
Okay.
And you're still at full stress. So you can take a moment if you wanted. You put the ring on, but if you want for this turn to hide, you can take back 3 points of stress. If you choose to do that, or if you choose to act in a different way, you can do that.
Mm-hmm. When I'm seeing it shrink, am I seeing it kind of shrink into like a person, kind of like we witnessed before with the other shadow beings?
Not entirely. This, it doesn't look like a person. You're not sure what it looks like. It looks like it does in its large form, just sort of condensed. The limbs shorten, and the writhing sort of tendrils that create its body solidify into what appears like a humanoid form, but it's animal in a way. It sort of hunches over. It's very strange.
Okay, I'll take the turn to rest, I guess, and
Sure.
get some stress back. But I'd like to keep watching it to see if it could, if it reacts in any certain way.
Yeah, you sort of duck behind the control panel, peeking over it, watching it from where you are. Is that all you'd like to do?
Yeah, and I'll wait for if chalk ends up flying my way or not.
Sure. Yeah, Kay, what would you like to do?
Yeah. How would trying to get the chalk to James take my entire turn, or?
No, that would just be a part of it. You could still do another action.
Probably gonna kind of come up, hold out the chalk, hope that an invisible James takes it.
Yeah.
And then,
As you get closer, you walk towards not only this being, but this gate. As you get closer, your pockets of your coat start to vibrate, and you realize that some of these objects that you took from the lower level lab, those resonant artifacts, seem to vibrate even stronger. And you remember that you have them.
Is it any in particular that are, or are they all kind of just?
All of them. Everything with any sort of dimensional bleed is calling to you.
Okay. So I know that the hat oscillates. It has Cold Lake on it. I'm gonna try putting on the hat. Oh, you're on mute.
Shit! I was doing so well the whole time, you guys.
Yeah.
So you put the hat on, and as you do, I lost my shit. You see that. Oopsies. You put it on. You remember that it has to be on backwards, so you slick it to the back. You feel like a kid again, back in the day. You start to feel yourself vibrate, and at first you think, oh my gosh, this is another dimensional shift. The ground is shaking again. But as you look around, you see that your vision is shaking, but nothing else appears to be. And you step forward, and you kind of feel buzzy. And you remember from reading the card that this will allow you to phase through solid objects. You're still visible. You can still be seen. You're just sort of jittery.
Okay, but it doesn't affect around me. It just affects me and.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That didn't do what I thought. I'm gonna take out the lighter, and I'm gonna blast it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you flick the lighter. It's a Zippo. It doesn't go on at first. You have to kind of like give it a couple. Maybe it's low on fuel. How do you refill something like that? You're not even sure. But you light it up and sort of point it at this creature, and then it sort of shoots out this flame, almost like a flamethrower that detaches from it, and it smacks this creature right in the chest. Go ahead and roll a d6.
Okay. 3.
3, okay. Yeah, so it hits it. You can see it sort of burns away at some of these tendrils. They don't connect again immediately. They still sort of writhe, but you can see bits of it are slightly charred. It screeches again, but not in the same way that pierces your ears quite like it has. But it does step a few steps forward as you stand there. Deb, you get one more go at it before its turn.
I am going to yell at the other two to stay off the glass and throw another grenade at it.
How many do you have?
I don't know.
Just a lot.
Pockets full.
You're wearing cargo pants and
Yep.
every pocket is full of grenades. Yeah, go ahead. Roll some damage.
6 damage.
6 damage. Okay, so it hits this creature. The glass cracks a little bit further, and you'll see that like this section about here cracks. It splinters through, and you can see that it begins to sort of almost bow with the weight of it, as if it's like bulletproof glass. There seems to be like a layer to it, but it really sags quite a bit, and the creature staggers forward again, realizing the precarious situation it finds itself in. As it sort of gets scorched up the legs, it staggers a little bit. You see it nearly falls to a knee as the flames sort of lick upward. With this, it's going to move forward once again, and it's going to, with its long arm, sort of lash forward. The arm, it almost looks like it detaches from its body as it comes forward, and as it does, you see a single ghoul, like the ones that you face down in the lab or up in the lab, and it comes towards you, phasing through you again, which feels different now because your body is oscillating and changing, and you can. It again has that icy hot feeling, but it burns even deeper, and you feel it in your system just wreaking havoc. You're going to take 3 damage from it as it stands and passes through you. This separate entity, though, you can't see because you're facing it, but Brant, you would see that it sort of disappears after it passes through. And we're back to the top with Deb.
All right. Oh boy. I am gonna run. I'm gonna run forward and grab the outstretched chalk.
Yeah.
And try and make a circle around this beastie to turn it into a hole in the floor.
Okay. How close are you getting to it?
5 feet?
Sure. Yeah, okay. So, do me a favor. I'm gonna have you roll. Because this is fucking insane. Not perhaps the most insane thing you've done today, but
pretty insane, though.
Quite a first day at the Bureau. You step forward, taking the chalk, and begin to draw a circle around it. I'm going to have you roll a d20, and if you get a 15 or higher, you can do a full circle.
Okay. I am gonna roll the cat asshole d20 that I got from Miko.
Yes. Lucky butthole die.
That is an 18.
An 18! Absolutely incredible. So you are able to draw a circle in chalk around this creature, putting all of your intent behind it to create a hole through the platform. And right as you reach the end of it and complete the circle, the floor disappears. It doesn't even fall through, it's just gone. And this entity falls through. As it's falling, you hear another scream. And as it does that, it reaches its arms forward, both detach, and 2 ghouls appear in its stead. They float above the hole that you've created in the floor. They are much smaller. They don't strike fear in you in the same way that they did up in the lab or with this larger creature. But they are close and they are shifting, and you see once again faces, human faces that look so real to you, and then they shift again and they're blank, and there are just eyeless voids that you stare at. We're gonna go to Pritchett for your turn.
So when I'm in this alternate dimension and I see all this happening, what does it look like? Like, was it like when it was taking damage? Was it like really reacting? Did it shrink down? And these smaller ones, are they humans under all of the shadow and smoke?
Yeah, so what you see with this creature, as it broke off and threw out these individual ghouls, smoke creatures, whatever you want to call them, those appeared humanoid. They looked gaunt, almost like zombies, but they didn't, not quite as dead. It was rather disturbing because they were dressed like people in normal everyday clothing. Their eyes, though, were entirely black. Their faces sort of sunken, and you could sort of just see the posture of utter despair. And you're actually going to take 2 points of stress from what you saw. The 2 creatures that broke off from this massive beast stand before you looking the same, like humans. They still shift because everything sort of swirls and shifts when you have the ring on, but they stand there before you.
So I'll take my ring off and I'll look over to Denzel and say, they're people. Do you think we could save them?
I'm sure there's a way, but how?
There's got to be a way to, I don't know, reach out to them, connect with them to make them remember who they are. I don't know. I'm willing to try anything. If we can maybe get them to stop trying to kill us, do you think we could bring them back?
Try talking to them. We haven't tried that yet.
Yeah. And Pritchett is just like super panicked and super stressed, and he sings to himself, but he's stressed. So he'll just continue singing, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me, for sure. That's what friends are for. And he'll try to convince them to relax, and we're actually going to try to save them if possible.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to have you roll a d20 as well, 15 or higher, and we'll consider it a success of sorts. We'll see what happens.
That is a 5.
Yeah, so you sing, and it's hard because when you took the ring off, they don't look like people anymore. They look like these shadows. You can see the flashes of them as you could before, but they don't stand there as human beings. And so as you sing, you pour everything that you can into it, hoping to reach them, but they still flicker and flash, and the void just continues to engulf them and doesn't happen to work.
That's fine. We tried.
You did try. Is there anything else that you wanted to do?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We're gonna go to Denzel.
He is going to, I think, try to communicate, and I think he has little. I think with the witchy stuff, I think he made little tiny pouches with, sage and other herbs and stuff inside. But the little pouch is made of like flash paper, and it has a wick, so he can light the wick, and he can throw little sage grenades.
Yes, he can. So how many of these do you have?
I would say maybe 2 or 3 I was able to kind of cobble together in the time we've...
Absolutely. So you take 2 in one hand, you pull out a lighter. It's the Zippo. You realize that's not the best choice. So you grab another from another pocket, a regular lighter. You light the fuses and lob both of them forward. And let's see, go ahead and roll a d6 for me.
Okay. A 5.
5. Okay. So as you throw them in, they ignite, and the sage burns. Everything sort of sizzles. You can hear it like it's amplified by being within these creatures. They are engulfed in the flame that remains from these sachets of explosives. I don't know. And you see them sizzle. Once again, they let out a very strong shriek, and all of you will take 4 points of stress, reduced however you can. As they sort of, you can hear, it starts off as that piercing, inhuman sort of screech, and it sort of, as they sizzle further, they become human screams, low and resonant again, and the shadow becomes more humanoid. And Pritchett, you see they look more like they did when you were wearing the ring. Not quite, but they're close. They still stand there looking more human than they did before, but still this vacant look in their eyes. They're going to step forward and lash out at each of you. As they do, you'll see they sort of, one grabs onto your shoulders, Connor, and shakes you. As they do, you see the face shift again into something human. And it looks like they're pleading with you. Their black eyes glowing, and they sort of shake you. But as their fingers grasp into your shoulders, it feels like they have nails that pierce you, and you're going to take 4 points of damage as they do. The other comes forward and puts a hand out to you, Pritchett, and will touch your face. And as it does, you're going to take 2 points of damage as you feel like a spike of ice, like a migraine sort of shooting through your head. It sort of blinds you for a moment. And as you blink back, there's sort of black spots in your vision. And you'll take the damage there. They're going to phase over behind. They don't pass through you. They sort of disappear and then reappear. It's like they're forms have changed enough that they can't behave the same. And we're going to step back up to the top with Deb.
This one, okay, it phased through. I am going to kind of push these two out of the way, tell them to stay behind me.
So brave.
And I am going to, I've got a little tactical knife that I'm going to pull out and stab at the one right in front of me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is 4 damage.
Yeah, so you reach forward with your knife and you stab into its gut. And as you connect, can you tell me a memory that Connor has? It can be something happy or sad, mundane, anything.
I think it's the day that he found out he got a job in the Monolith with the Bureau and was so excited about the opportunity to work for an organization like this.
Yeah, so you can see yourself sitting in your kitchen and you received a letter, and for a moment you think it's kind of an archaic way to do things, but it feels kind of special and official. And you see yourself sitting there, you're reminded of that feeling, and as you sit, you look up from the letter, and instead of seeing your kitchen, you see you're at a table in a garden, and at first it looks lovely, and you realize that there are companions sitting with you at this table, but they are dead, slightly alive. They are these creatures, and they sit there before you, and this memory that you have starts to shrivel and shrink, and it's sort of pulled from your mind. You can feel it fading, but as your knife sinks further, the entity before you falls and everything is pulled back. You're in your kitchen again, and then you're back in the lower level, standing there, knife dripping with red blood, and a body before you. Would you like to do anything else on your turn?
I think there's just like his face gets red, and his two companions are sort of behind him so they can't see, but there are some, tears that spring into his eyes at the idea of losing that memory that was, so one of the best moments in his life, and the relief at getting it back. And I think he just stands there for a minute and is sort of overcome with all kinds of emotion. You're on mute, Beth.
Fucking balls. All right. You know what? Yeah, so you're sort of overcome with this. You don't suffer any stress. Somehow the fading of this adjusted memory pulls any stress from you, and you feel almost hopeful in a way as they fall, and the hope sort of shifts into grief at the person laying at your feet. And we'll move on then to Jimbo.
I don't know what to do at this point. Oh my god.
Keep smiling.
Keep shining. I think I'm gonna take the Polaroid out and take a picture of the entity to freeze it in time for a little bit,
Yeah.
Well, we can kind of all catch our breaths and then maybe try to figure out what to do for the next minute.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've learned, it takes approximately 8 to 10 minutes for a Polaroid to develop. So you've got a few minutes, I guess. The gate is still vibrating. You can see sort of that lightning shimmering. You don't see that singular monster through it any longer. That appears to be gone, but you do see other shadows sort of swirling. They come close to the edge as if they're willing to pass through, and you see them turn from people to shadow to people again to monsters and creatures and horrible things, and it still sort of pulses again and again and again.
Yeah, so I take the chalk from Connor and I draw a grenade launcher. And I just hand that over to Connor.
Fantastic. Quick question. How are your artistic skills?
I imagine it looks super cartoony, almost like a Nerf gun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a grenade launcher. The intent behind it is what allows it to be functional. It looks a little fucked up, but you think that it should work. And you hand it over to Agent Brandt, who now holds a grenade launcher in his hand.
You want to give us maybe like a 5-minute head start, and then we'll meet you in the elevator?
Are we gonna close that thing, or?
I think we're just gonna blow it up.
Oh, the whole. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the whole thing. I mean,
Like what we're working with.
Yeah. I didn't know that was authorized, but sure. Yep. Okay. I will do my best, and good luck.
So you stand there. Denzel and James, are you sort of leaving down the hall a bit? This entity is still frozen there. The photo laying at its feet, still underdeveloped. What do you do?
I think maybe, I don't know if we'd go all the way down the hallway, but I'd go like right here, right by the entrance.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna just push the shadow being into the hole.
Yeah.
Because I figure they can't do anything about it.
They're frozen, so you can, feel free.
Perfect. And there was a generator as well, right? Is that?
Yeah, so up at the top of the staircase to the top right, there is a generator. It's buzzing, it's glowing blue. It appears to be working.
Okay. Is this functional? Do you think we should shoot the portal, or there's this generator? I think it's maybe powering the portal.
You're the experts here. I just
I'm not a tech guy. I keeps apparently sending something about being a fisherman emails to the whole monolith.
Yeah, you shouldn't forward those emails. I know it says you're gonna die, or I know it says that Bloody Mary will get you in your sleep if you don't pass it on to 15. It's not true, but
why would I get them if it wasn't true?
I mean, if you haven't been visited by Bloody Mary by now, then I guess it's true. But you probably should stop. I guess if you blow up the generator, it will stop powering the thing. It's Friday. I'm tired. I really want to go home to my cats. Like,
might look less cool too. So
we'll let the new guy decide.
Is there like an off switch to the generator that you can see or something? Like maybe if we power down and then I shoot the frame? I don't know what's going to happen if I shoot a grenade at the portal.
It'll probably blow up.
Okay. Okay. And I'll... With my last grenade in my pocket, I will pull it out and load it into the grenade launcher.
Could I just draw a bunch more grenades?
There's only one use of the chalk left.
Yeah, there's one use left. So feel free, draw whatever you want.
Could I draw a crate of grenades?
Would you have not drawn a grenade launcher filled with grenades? Is it an
I think that
empty
makes
grenade?
sense.
Sure. We can retcon that however you want it to be. Yeah, you've got several grenades.
Genie, give us more wishes.
Honestly, take whatever the fuck you want, right? It's a Friday. Yeah, so it's I would say you've got 5 grenades in there. Solid. Some of them look a little wonky, but you think they'll fly true.
Hopefully they'll blow up. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna shoot at the base of the frame, I think. Not so it doesn't go through the portal, but kind of hits the...
Oh shit, I didn't even think of that. Oh my god.
So, okay. Once again, I will have you roll a d20 for me. We're looking for a 15 or above.
The cat asshole die works again. I got a 15.
Perfect. Okay. So with that 15, everything doesn't go to shit. So you aim at the base of this portal. It's crackling with energy, and you take the first shot, and it explodes at the base of it. You see the framework crack within the portal itself. You see the glass that's not really there. It looks like it has cracked on that bottom edge. You go and launch the second grenade, and it passes into the portal, going through. You see it disappear entirely. You think it was entirely ineffective, and you feel then a rumble and an explosion. The grenade was delayed, but it blasted. Passing through the portal is just a wave of black blood, the same blood that spewed from the creatures up in the lower level lab. And you launch one more time, wiping the black blood out of your eyes. It hits the base once again, cracking it further. And with a fourth and ideally final blast, you hit just the center of the base of this circular portal, and it blows up and forces the ends outward. The entire thing cracks and it falls below. You're able to see in the glass floor and the parts that aren't shattered by the other grenades that you threw earlier. It falls, and the light diminishes, and it's gone, and you can't see it land. And you can't hear it land, but it keeps going and going, and eventually you hear the tiniest little tink, and everything is quiet. Until it's not. The room begins to shake. The platform glass shatters. There is dust and rubble falling from the ceiling as everything seems to be going to shit. The blast has messed with the structural integrity of this space. And your friends standing at the end of the hallway urge you to run.
I take off sprinting in the direction of the hallway and back to the surface.
Yeah, so you sprint down this this hallway. You make it to that spiral staircase. You're all booking it as fast as one can run up a spiral staircase. it's sort of cartoonish again in the way that you wrap yourselves up. You find yourself at the long hallway, running further and further. You're not sure how much of this destruction is going to reach. It sounds like it's behind you, but you don't see anything happening, and still you run. The older gentleman sort of falling behind. Connor, you're not sure if you should slow down or keep going. But eventually you make it into the lower level lab, back where you started, and things are quiet once again.
Another day in paradise, eh?
Living the dream.
You guys want to hang out this weekend?
I don't have plans.
Brunch Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday brunch. But what is Updog though?
Not much. You?
Oh, that's a stupid joke.
Got him.
As we watch the the frame go inward a bit, you see three friends walking side by side. They take the long elevator ride upward, past the lower levels, up past the basement levels, all the way up to the director's floor. You kick the door down to his office. He's sitting there slightly drunk, but he's also playing Candy Crush on his phone. And he's surprised to see you. You take the letter from the scientist downstairs, holding it up in front of him. Let him know that he's a piece of shit, and that it's frankly his fault that everything happened. He is shocked that you're alive. That was unexpected to him. We do see that a monument is erected upon the retirement of Dr. Denzel Jackson. It is absolutely glorious. What does it look like, Kay?
I don't... I was thinking that it was not going to be make it a functional space so that James couldn't get it. But I think knowing how being friends with James and knowing how much James wants this space, I think it's a very low monument. It's just like maybe a sheet of metal that's embossed, that has like Dr. Denzel, and what he found, how long he was working there, has all his bio and stuff. Death date, never. I don't know.
Pritchett drives his Prius over it every single day. Thinks of you fondly. That is fantastic. Yeah. James Pritchett, you get the best parking spot in the entire lot, which is great because your knees are fucked, and it's going to be helpful to be that close. Certainly better than the basement level 4 garage. That was a bit rough. You every day step out on the monument to your friend, who is still very much alive and who you see casually on most Sundays for brunch. What does the future look like for you here at the Bureau?
Another day, another dollar, you know? Just going in, doing my job, and going home.
Excellent. Do the sandwiches continue to appear? Was that lost with the break of this interdimensional barrier?
No, I think they still appear. Sometimes it's other things too. I've gotten a wrap one time. I've gotten leftover like a chicken cutlet one time. It's
Wow.
super weird. Still don't get it. There's pizza pockets too in the freezer sometimes. It's amazing.
Yeah. You know what? Some things you can't explain, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
How do things look for our new and yet somehow very experienced agent?
Connor loves his first day. It was great. It was thrilling and emotional, and he's got some new friends. And so he dedicates himself to the work and eventually rises through the ranks to become director.
Incredible. Congratulations, Director Brandt, on hopefully running the Bureau a little bit better than previous directors may have. Fantastic. Well, folks, that's where we're going to end this story, though there are sure to be plenty of odd experiences, shifts and phases, and dimensional bleed that continue through, even though the portal to this shadow realm has been closed. We are able to put our faith in our new director years down the road, that the world will be safe from paranatural harm. Thank you all for being here and playing with me. This was a lot of fun. For those of you watching, initially, this was going to be a serious game, but my friends are the best and turned it into something way more fun. So I hope that you all enjoyed it as much as I did. It was a total blast.